Hi, welcome back to the Cross Training Weekly Live. Although this week I'm actually not live, I am pre-recording this video because I have my mom here in Alabama. I just moved down here, and we're going to be making some bread today. This is a great whole plant-based recipe that I really like. I think it's really good. It's only a few ingredients, and so I thought I'd have her help us make this today because I want to learn how to make this as well. And it takes some time to rise and cook in the oven. So we're gonna just record it today, and I'll be sharing it with you when it's done.
This bread is the best if you can time it to come out of the oven just as you're eating dinner. But we don't have the opportunity to do that today, so we're gonna make it this morning and enjoy it later this evening with some vegan lasagna. I learned this recipe from a friend. We were gone on a girls' weekend, and she made this awesome bread. And I was just like, it's one of those where you have something and you have to have the ingredients and the recipe. And this is very easy, and Allison loves it because it has no oil and no sugar.
Yep.
The only ingredients are, and I use bread flour. This is King Arthur bread flour.
And I will say, I did look at the ingredients when we bought it yesterday, and it is enriched bleached bread, unbleached hard red wheat flour. So if I make this, I would try to possibly buy a bread that's whole grain or whole wheat. So when I try it, I'll do that and see if it turns out the same, but I know it's a little bit different when you use a bread flour. So,
well, and what I've been doing, tweaking recipes, is I'll try it half and half first. So it might be worth trying half whole wheat flour, half bread flour to see if it's a big difference in taste. So the first thing we need are 4 cups of bread flour. I'm gonna let you do this.
okay. We've got 4 cups of bread flour. And what?
Then we're going to use 3 packets of yeast. And my friend had put on the recipe the active dry yeast original. I can also use rapid rise. That's another one that I
So
could
just
do.
cut these.
Yep.
And dump it in.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Now.
And then we need 3/4 tablespoon of salt.
Okay. Right
And
here.
I just eyeball it.
Okay. So I've got a tablespoon right here. A little bit more.
A little more. Good.
Okay. Dump that in.
Yep. And while she's mixing that up, I'm going to put in 2 cups of warm water, and it's really more like hot water. In fact, the directions say,
I read the directions right before this, and it said it should be a temperature. It said 110 degrees, but I don't have a thermometer, so they said you can do like a finger test, and you should want to take your finger out after a couple seconds because it's hot. So, all right, I think this is thoroughly mixed in here.
Okay, I'm gonna warm this up for like 30 seconds.
As my mom was warming up the water, I asked her, is it a problem if it's too hot? And she said, yes, because it will kill the yeast. So you don't want it to be too hot. You do want it in that sweet spot.
Okay, I want you to touch it though, feel it.
I mean, I like hot stuff. I mean, it's hot for sure.
I think it's pretty good. So we're just gonna pour that in and then stir that up.
Okay. Usually cover this thing with a cloth.
You can cover it with a cloth. She said it gets very sticky.
It does.
It get pretty sticky?
Yeah, I feel that a little bit.
Now you can add a little bit more water if you're having a hard time getting it to all get together, but sometimes what I'll do,
Just use your hand.
just use my hands and I start digging in.
I think that's.
But this recipe is a no-knead recipe, so you don't need to really knead it.
Okay.
But I do it sometimes if it's dry and I want to get it all
Knead
together.
it a little bit.
Sure, just get your hands in there.
I don't want to get my pretty ring all over us.
So just kind of
Push it
knead it
together.
around, push it together to just get in the rest of the
Flour.
flour. And I've done this before too. I'll add just a little bit more. Maybe I'll just get a little bit more hot water.
I mean, might be good.
This might be okay.
Might be, but I'll let you do that.
How it looks. I just have a little teeny bit of water. Yeah. Okay, just a few drops. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to like push it down too much. Yeah. Okay, then just,
Let me sit.
yep.
Just like this.
And then I would take all the junk off your hands.
So this is my dough ball. It is a little, I mean, flaky yet, but my hands are a little bit sticky from this. All right, just let it.
Okay, so the directions say if you have a Rubbermaid container, a large Rubbermaid container, which I do at my house, I put it in that container and then I just put the top on, but I make sure it's not on tight. And so I think what we'll do is we will get,
Just a towel or something.
sure, a towel and then put it over the top. And then you want to put the dough in a place that's going to be warm in your kitchen. So sometimes I'll even put on my oven and I'll set the bowl on top of the oven so that it gets some of the warmth from the oven, but obviously it's not sitting inside the oven.
So it gets warm on the oven without it being on, or you have something
Right.
in the oven?
No, you don't have anything in the oven. I just like to have the oven on because it creates a little bit of warmth and that helps the yeast
So you
to
do
rise.
put the oven in.
I put the oven on, but I don't put the bread in.
Right.
I
But
just
what
set it on
temperature do
top.
you put it at then?
Like even 250 to 300, just so that it creates a little bit of heat, even maybe, I would say 250.
Okay.
I just have an electric oven at home, so the heat from the oven comes up through the top a little bit.
Okay.
Or if you've got a sunny place in your kitchen, you could certainly put it there and it would help it to warm up to rise. So yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna let this rise for 2 hours.
All right, so we are back. Our bread has been sitting for 2 hours.
And it rolls very nicely. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a knife and we're gonna cut the dough in half because we're gonna make 2 loaves. So I'm just cutting it pretty much down the middle. And then I'm gonna put some flour on my hands. And I'm gonna have Allison put some parchment paper on 2 of these cookie sheets. Now I'm just gonna pick up the loaf. It's gonna be sticky, that's why we need to have some flour in our hands. And I'm just gonna kind of toss it in between my hands a little bit. And all I'm gonna do is put it on the cookie sheet. And it looks just like this on the cookie sheet. Doesn't look like a pretty loaf, but that's what we want. We're just doing artisan. I'm gonna add a little bit more flour to my hands. Grab the second one, because we're gonna have one with lunch and one with dinner. And I just kind of, again, play with it a little bit. Put it on the cookie sheet with the parchment paper. And now we're gonna let this rise or set or rest or whatever for another 40 minutes. Now we should have said earlier to heat up your oven to 450. So I'm actually gonna do that right now. And so that's gonna be preheating. And what you wanna do is you wanna set up your shelves in your oven so that the shelf that the bread is gonna go on is gonna be in the middle of the oven. And then underneath that, you wanna put a container with like an inch or so of water. And this is gonna provide humidity and make the bread
Moist.
moist and even rise more. Okay, so now I gotta lower that bottom shelf. Okay. So we're gonna just let this preheat for a minute. Now our oven's just about preheated to 450. Oh, there goes the buzzer just right now. So we're ready to put these in the oven, but I did want to tell you that if you did not want to make 2 loaves, you can keep the unbaked dough in your fridge for up to 2 weeks. And I have done that, and I went the whole 2 weeks, and the bread turned out just as great as the first day. So you'd be more than happy to do that if you'd like. So this is what the bread looks like now. We're gonna stick it in the oven and we're gonna put it above the water in about the middle of the oven. And now this is going to bake for 25 minutes. And get ready, because when it comes out, it's gonna be excellent. Our timer just went off, so our bread is done. Turn that off.
Oh, baby.
Just got my glasses all fogged up, so I can't see anything.
Can I get out the
The
other one?
bread coming out of the oven. Lovely. Oh, hold on. You're gonna love it. Can't wait to hear you trying this recipe out and sharing your thoughts and ideas.
Yes. Well, I hope you guys liked today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and let us know if you have any questions, but definitely I would recommend this recipe, especially if you're making a soup or you got some vegan lasagna like we said we have for later. So yeah, enjoy.